Good morning, children. Today I am going to teach GK and the topics are books and food. Let us start with the chapter food. Before starting the chapter, let me tell you what is food. Food is any substance consumed to provide nutritional support for an organism. Food is usually of plant or animal origin and contains essential nutrients such as carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins or minerals. It helps to provide energy, maintain life or stimulate growth. Before starting the exercises, let me tell you some interesting facts about some food. A typical ear of corn has an even number of rows, which is usually 16. Ketchup was once believed to have medicinal qualities that could cure diarrhea. In the early 1800s, tomatoes were believed to have medicinal qualities. Parfirst Company, a doctor in Ohio in the 1830s, claimed that tomatoes could treat diarrhea and indigestion. Green, yellow and red bell peppers are not actually the same vegetables. White chocolates are not actually chocolates, as it doesn't actually contain any real chocolate components. According to Bon Appetit, the item is made up of a blend of sugar, milk products, vanilla, lecithin and cocoa powder. No chocolate solids. Did you know how gummy candies get the glossy sheen? They are coated with carnauba, that is carnauba wax. The same thing that is used on cars to make them shiny. Ripe cranberries will bounce like rubber balls, so they are referred to as bounce berries. In fact, bouncing cranberries is a common ripeness test for farmers and consumers alike. Potatoes can absorb and reflect Wi-Fi signals. When Boeing wanted to test out its wireless signal on a new planes in 2012, they placed giant piles of potatoes on seats. Because of their high water content and chemical makeup, potatoes absorb and reflect radio and wireless signals just like humans do. Every banana you eat is a clone. Even though there are 1,000 varieties of bananas all over the world, the common yellow fruit that you see in the supermarket are all genetic clones of the Cavendish variety. In fact, bananas are technically berries and strawberries are not, since in biology a berry must come from one flower with one ovary and typically have many seeds. Raspberries, strawberries and blackberries does not count because they come from a single flower with more than one ovary. Aztecs used chocolates. Aztecs used chocolates as currency. People under Aztec rule could use cocoa to pay their taxes. Honey will never ever go bad, as it is very low in moisture and very acidic. Two primary defenses against food spoilage. That is why archaeologists have found pots of honey from thousands of years ago that still look fresh. Carrots were originally purple in color. According to the National Carrot Museum in the UK, the first carrots looked nothing like today. Originally, these vegetables were purple or white with thin root. The orange carrots we know and eat today are actually the result of a genetic mutation in the late 1600th century that won out the original color. Now children, let us do the exercises. Open your book and turn to page 26. Circle the correct answers. Number 1. What will you use in a salad? Your answer is cucumber. There are 3 options. You will tick cucumber. Number 2. What would you see on a cob? Answer is corn. Which of these is the biggest in size and round in shape? Answer is pumpkin. Which of these is totally green in color? Answer is broccoli. Number 5. Which of these is popularly used to make soup? Answer is tomato. Number 6. Which of these is a herb? Answer is basil. 7. Which of these is not a legume? Answer is melon. 8. Which of these is a leafy vegetable? Answer is spinach. 9. Which of these is the most popular spice in the world? Answer is saffron. Number 10. What is the dried food of grapes called? Answer is raisin. Hope you have completed it. Now children, we will read these quick facts. Pulses are actually obtained from legumes. They are rich in proteins. More about. The term legume is derived from the Latin word legumen. It is a simple dry fruit and commonly known as a pod. Commonly used legumes are alfalfa, clover, peas, beans, lentils, soy and peanuts. Children, we will do another topic, that is books. Turn to page 48. Fill in the names of the authors of the following books. Number 1. Alice in Wonderland is written by Lewis Carroll. Lewis Carroll wrote Alice in Wonderland in 1865. It tells of a young girl named Alice who falls through a rabbit hole into a subterranean fantasy world populated by peculiar anthropomorphic creatures. Lewis Carroll was traveling with Alice, Edith, and Lorena Liddell, the 3 young daughters of a close friend, taking them out for a picnic. To amuse them and pass the time, he spun a story about a little girl who shared young Alice Liddell's name. Gulliver's Travel is a book written by Jonathan Swift. Gulliver's Travel or Travels into Several Remote Nations of the World. In the 4 parts by Lemuel Gulliver. First a surgeon, then a captain of several ships, is a 1726 prose satire by the Irish writer Jonathan Swift. The story is whenever Lemuel Gulliver fails in business, he goes for a sail to the sea. Once Gulliver had an adventure with the Lilliputs in Blefuscu. The story tells how he managed to escape Blefuscu. After some time, he again set for sea voyage and had another adventure in the land of giants called Brobdingnag. Next, Gulliver sets sail again, and after an attack by pirates, end up in Laputa, where a floating island inhabited by theoreticians called Balnibarbi. Finally, on his fourth journey, he arrives in an unknown land populated by Houyhnhims, rational thinking horses. Discovery of India is written by Jawaharlal Nehru. The book was written by India's first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru during his imprisonment in 1942 to 1945 at Ahmednagar Fort in Maharashtra by the British during the British Raj before independence of India. He wrote about the Indian unity, history, philosophy and culture. Godan is a famous book written by Munshi Premchand. Godan is a famous Hindi novel by Munshi Premchand. It was first published in 1936 and is considered one of the greatest Hindi novels of modern Indian literature. Themed around the socio-economic deprivation as well as the exploitations of a village poor. In 1968, Gordon C. Rodermill translated it in English. Malgudi Days is a book written by R.K. Narayan. Malgudi Days is a collection of short stories by R.K. Narayan published in 1943 by Indian Thought Publication. The book includes 32 stories, all set in fictional town of Malgudi, located in South India. Each chapter portrays the author as a different person in a different profession. For example, Narayan takes on the role of an astrologer, a postman, a doctor, a blind beggar, a Brahmin, a man who carves an image of God, and a boy who doesn't want to go to school. According to New York Times, each story portrays a facet of life in Malgudi. Gitanjali is written by Rabindranath Tagore. Gitanjali is a collection of poems by the Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore. He received the Nobel Prize for Literature largely for the English translation Song Offerings. It is part of the UNESCO collection of representative works. Its central theme is devotion. A single line of his poetry can make anyone forget of all the troubles of the world. The songs of Gitanjali can purify our body and mind to get closer to our God. Although the God of Rabindranath is the God of beauty, wisdom, and perfection, not a rigid deity prescribed by religion or tradition. 7. Fairy Tales of My Life is written by Hans Christian Andersen. Danish poet and novelist Hans Christian Andersen is best known for the dozens of fairy tales he wrote, including The Little Mermaid, The Ugly Duckling, The Snow Queen, etc. Andersen's sense of fantasy, power of description, and acute sensitivity are strikingly evident in his autobiography. He masterfully depicts the extreme poverty of his provincial childhood and the international celebrity of his later years, and also provides insights into the sources of many of his most famous tales. 8. The Wonderful Wizards of Oz is a famous book by L. Frank Baum. It is an American children's novel written by author L. Frank Baum. The story chronicles the adventures of a young farm girl named Dorothy in the magical land of Oz. After she and her pet dog Toto are swept away from the Kansas home by a cyclone. Number 9. Oliver Twist is a book written by Charles Dickens. It is a Charles Dickens second novel and was published as a serial from 1837 to 1839 and released as a 3-volume book in 1838. The story centers on orphan Oliver Twist, born in a workhouse and sold into apprenticeship with an undertaker. After escaping, Oliver travels to London, where he met the Artful Dodger, a member of a gang of juvenile pickpocketers, led by the elderly criminal Fagin. It portrays the lives of criminals as well as the cruel treatment of many orphans in London in the mid-19th century. Number 10. Panchatantra is written by Vishnu Sharma. It is an ancient Indian collection of interrelated animal fables in Sanskrit verse and prose, arranged within a frame story. It is classical literature in a Hindu text and based on older oral traditions with animal fables that are as old as we are able to imagine. Now, children, let us read quick facts. Most languages are written from left to the right, but Arabic, Persian and Urdu languages are written from right to the left. The Mahabharata is the largest epic of the world. Activity Corner. Reading is a good habit. It improves our vocabulary and English. Try to read at least one storybook in 1 month. More about the Mahabharata is the story of the Pandavas and the Kauravas. Pandu, the king of Hastinapur, was the father of Pandavas. Yudhishthira, the eldest son of Pandu, was made the king after his father's death. But the Kauravas wanted to take away the kingdom from the Pandavas. So they fought a battle at Kurukshetra, which the Pandavas finally won. Hope you have completed your exercises. Thank you, children.